In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, peace be upon you. Apologies, I speak slowly. To speed up this video, click on Settings and select a suitable speed. Islamic prayer in congregation lifts depression. As I have stated in previous videos, I was raised by an atheist uncle. My religious education came from my Church of England school until I discovered the Quran. Now, for years, I just read the Quran alone or prayed alone, but I had a life-changing experience, and during that experience, I wanted desperately to go to Mecca and visit the original house of worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I have no idea why all of a sudden I wanted that. Actually, part of the reason was that I believed I had become a terrible sinner, and that it was my way of seeking forgiveness. It was my way of repenting to God. So I desperately wanted to go there, even though in my past life I had no desire to be there, because I had seen the pictures with all the Muslims surrounding the place, and I know in this picture there aren't many people. It seems to be a quiet period, but I found the environment, it looked very claustrophobic, and I wasn't interested in visiting there until my experience, as I've just said. So while I was there, I actually got quite annoyed with women standing right up close to me. I was used to the Western society and having your own space, and I wanted my own space all around me. So I decided to visit higher levels in the building around the Kaaba, so that I could pray where there's fewer people. Now, I stood near a lady when it was prayer time, but she signalled for me to move closer to her, and so I stepped closer to her side, and we were still not touching, so she signalled again for me to get even closer, and I thought, that's strange. She wants me to, not even leave a tiny gap. So I did step sideways, closer still, and now, the edge of our arms was touching, like in the picture. Now, as the prayer began in Arabic, echoing in the building, I just went through a really strange experience. My entire body tingled, and the feeling was absolutely amazing. It was, a feeling of contentment and relaxation, and it felt good being in contact with another person, but I also felt caressed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, after the prayer finished, and I met up with my husband, I told him about the experience, and the fact that the lady insisted I get closer and closer because I couldn't understand why she had done that. Now, he actually explained to me that according to Islam, you have to stand, excuse me, touching each other. It's getting a bit late. You have to stand shoulder to shoulder, and the Prophet used to say that it is to prevent Satan getting between us. And I can understand that from a metaphorical perspective, that it was about preventing divisions within the community, but it also has this really beneficial effect, especially when you haven't had experienced human loving touch. As I've said in other videos, that my mum died when I was at 11, so I never really experienced a loving, affectionate touch from other people, but I got this during prayers at the masjid. I was actually quite annoyed that in the Pakistani community, women are discouraged from visiting the masjid because, you know, people want to just leave the children at home with the mothers. Um, because what tends to happen is, especially during Ramadan, is the mothers bring all their children, and the children are running round and playing. But to be honest with you, I find it quite soothing. You know, I know that as I was praying, these two little girls were walking backwards and forwards in the amongst the line of people, and even their little breeze that they were creating was very peaceful and made me feel very relaxed. Um, I do know usually it's elderly people, they have little patience for the children, but our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was very patient with children. He allowed them to play on him even as he prayed. And sometimes you see mothers carrying their babies, or 1-year olds or 2-year olds, and they'll be performing the prayer and they're carrying their child because at the same time, because the child has insisted that it wants to be picked up, and which I find really lovely. Um, it's just so wonderful, and looking at these pictures with the children, I find them quite calming and soothing to see. So I do wish people didn't get upset about that. And so I was a bit annoyed that I'd missed out on this really important part of an Islamic society, which is to pray in congregation. And as I said, I do feel I led quite a lonely life without my mum to give me her hugs and love. And well, Alhamdulillah that God gave me it through praying in congregation. So I pray that Allah guides you, protects you, and gives you peace. I pray that Allah guides the Satanists, the anti-Christians, and the devil to the straight path. May the ultimate success be that all creation unite for truth and justice. I pray that Allah grants us all guidance again, grants us forgiveness. I pray that He makes children a source of peace for their parents, and the parents a source of peace for the children. And I pray that I am a source of peace for all, and may I achieve martyrdom, defending the vulnerable. Allahu Akbar and Allah Hafiz.